People who believe they have agency over their health are more likely to seek reversal or root cause healing. They typically see disease, disorders, or ailments as something they can influence. Others may feel that their condition is out of their hands, genetic, fated, or just simply how it is. For some people, the disease becomes part of their identity, right? Have you seen that before where it kind of shapes their routines, their relationships, even how they receive care or attention? Letting go of that can feel really destabilizing. Healing often requires confronting deep emotional or lifestyle shifts. That can feel really overwhelming or even threatening to someone's sense of self. Western medicine often treats symptoms, not systems. In that type of paradigm, managing disease is kind of normalized. Reversing them is rarely discussed, at least in my personal experience. Medication offers a quick fix. Reversal often demands long-term commitment, dietary changes, emotional work, and sometimes even spiritual excavation. Do I need an exorcism? Not everyone has the mental, emotional, or physical capacity to put in the work that is needed for reversal. And I feel that that should be honored and respected. There is absolutely nothing wrong with those who prefer to either consent to the illness or for those who frankly just do not have the capacity to take on the effort needed in order to reverse it. It can be a lot. And if that's you, no worries. You will still get a ton out of this video. But a lot of this is for the people who believe they have an influence, not the ultimate say, but that they have a level of influence over their health and well being. And they have the capacity to put in the effort. That's also important. This is for those who see their ailment as a wake up call, one that invites radical transformation. So if you are in that space right now, then I will share with you the most effective hack I use to address just about anything that comes up for me. It is so obvious and it literally works for just about anything. In fact, earthlings are wired to receive information this way. Remember this hack. Keep it in your back pocket and you will expedite your healing process. In Earth School, wisdom is often passed through story, not lecture. When someone shares how they personally moved through an illness or a heartbreak or addiction or some sort of disorder, they're offering a map. Have you ever received advice from someone who meant well, but the advice just didn't land? Maybe the advice itself was solid, but the person delivering it wasn't the right vessel. I've heard people offer guidance that they wouldn't follow themselves. I've heard people give advice on topics they've never really even lived through, or frankly, maybe they lived through it, but they haven't really mastered it yet. I mean, I've done that. I'm sure a lot of us have done that. So, no judgment there. But for whatever reason, that kind of advice rarely sticks. But when someone shares insight from personal experience, when they've walked through the thing that you're facing, it hits differently. There's psychological and even neurological reasons for that. People can feel when someone's speaking from lived truth. We're wired to respond to lived truth. Integrated experience carries weight. It's not performative, it's real. If there's one thing I know to be true here in Earth School, it's that the healed become teachers. When someone faces a deep challenge, again, whether that's an illness, addiction, emotional pain, or any kind of disease, and chooses to meet it head on, something powerful happens. They enter a process, an Earth School curriculum. Through trial and error and persistence, they begin to understand the terrain of their imbalance. Here they explore different paths, they gather tools, and slowly they find their way through to the other side. And when they do, when they truly integrate what they've learned, they begin to radiate insight and they become a magnet to others. And this is your key to the secret healing hack that will expedite your healing. Find someone who's healed what you're trying to heal and study and follow what they do. I use this for everything, and I'll give you some amazing tips on how to do this. I'm a holistic herbalist, and people come to me with all kinds of mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual health concerns. I help where I can, but I'm not an expert in everything, not even close. What I am good at is helping people find their path towards healing. And one of the most effective tools I found is this: find someone who had what you have and healed it, not someone who's managing it, not someone who's memorized a theory, someone who lived it, reversed it, and came out the other side. These people are everywhere. Autoimmune disease, cancer, addiction, mental health issues, emotional pain, reproductive issues. There are countless stories of people who were told healing wasn't possible and they proved otherwise. People who move through hard things and get to the other side are not only inspirational, they are informational. This is the suggestion I give to others, and it's the suggestion I follow myself. In early 2023, I went through a stressful period of life that had several major life events. By March, the stress was officially getting to me and I wasn't feeling very well. I've always paid attention to family patterns, and autoimmune disease runs deep in my family. I started noticing signs: weight gain I couldn't explain, hair loss, fatigue. Hashimoto's runs in my family, so I asked my doctor for a thyroid panel. My doctor initially refused, saying I didn't need one, but I pushed and I eventually got the test. Sure enough, my TPO antibodies were elevated. That means my immune system has flagged my thyroid and was beginning to attack it. My TSH, T3, and T4 were still normal for now, but I knew what was coming if I didn't intervene. I would eventually have full blown Hashimoto's if I didn't do something. The doctor's recommendation was to basically come back every 6 months for blood tests. In other words, we'll monitor and wait until it gets worse and then we'll treat it. Western medicine is brilliant in so many ways, especially for trauma and surgery and acute care. But when it comes to chronic disease, it rarely talks about reversal. It manages symptoms, it monitors decline. So I asked my doctor, do you have experience helping people lower TPO antibodies or reversing autoimmune patterns? My doctor was honest and said no, and that she would refer me to an OBGYN. She did. I met with the OBGYN. He was very kind, but he was not very helpful. So I asked this OBGYN, do you have experience helping people lower TPO antibodies or reversing autoimmune patterns? He did not. These doctors could not help me because I was in a subclinical phase. The only thing they knew how to do was monitor me through blood tests, wait until my immune system destroys my thyroid, then prescribe me medication. So I did what I always do. I started looking for people who had healed or prevented Hashimoto's. I studied their stories, their protocols, their mindsets, and I've been able to get my TPO continue to lower with every single blood test I get. I will keep you all updated on this, as I love a good disease reversal story, but let me share with you ways I go in about finding these people. Because of my holistic health background and my studies of family history, I already had a lot of knowledge of Hashimoto's and autoimmunity when all of this was going on. That didn't matter. That doesn't matter. I still went and found people who did what I am trying to do. The level of knowledge available is a spectrum with something available for anyone at every level. We're in the information age. You have access to a plethora of information at the touch of a finger or a click of a mouse. Use that to your advantage. Are you on social media? Do you know how many TikTok or Instagram accounts there are with people who have healed and are turning around trying to help others do the same? These accounts are everywhere. Same with YouTube. That is basically what my YouTube channel is about. I share what I've struggled with, what I've worked through, and what I've learned. I came from barely being able to live to now living quite comfortably. Doesn't mean I still don't face challenges, doesn't mean that at all, but the struggle isn't what it used to be. Every challenge became a part of my Earth School curriculum, and every lesson gave me tools I now carry with me today. So, social media is a great way to follow those who have healed what you're trying to heal. Go find those accounts and follow them so they show up on your feed. Curate your digital space intentionally. Follow accounts, subscribe to newsletters, and save posts that reflect the healing you're trying to call in. Let your algorithm be your ally. My social media is filled with positive accounts with people who have healed their autoimmune disease. And this is all free. Audiobooks and podcasts are other great ways to learn from others. People who have healed tend to want to share their story and help others. You can listen to memoirs and healing journeys, deep dives while you walk, while you cook, while you rest. It's passive learning with an active impact. I found an awesome podcast made by a medical doctor who was diagnosed with Hashimoto's. He went to all of his doctor friends and followed all of the Western medicine advice. He got sicker. So he went and he studied functional medicine. With his medical degree and his functional medicine background, he healed himself of Hashimoto's. Yeah, I want to hear what this guy has to say. Support groups can be incredibly powerful. If we're working through something like an addiction, it helps to be in a space with others who've been there, who've struggled, healed, and found a way out. If our relationship with food is affecting our health, there are support groups built around that too. Even emotional pain, grief, heartbreak, trauma, there are groups for those things too. And a lot of them are free, like 12-step programs. Being around people who've lived through what we're facing is often more helpful than advice from someone who means well but hasn't walked that road. Online community and forums is another way. Again, being in the information age means you have access to people you didn't have access to before. That's pretty incredible. You can talk with people from all over the world. You just have to put in a little effort into finding them. Read books, watch documentaries, find an avenue that fits with your life. Whatever avenue you choose, when someone shares their story, follow the breadcrumbs. Who did they learn from? Who were their teachers? What books did they read? What protocols did they follow? This will naturally make you more of an expert in the imbalance that you are trying to resolve or heal. Now, use your discretion, your internal compass when seeking out others. There is more than one pathway to heal. I follow many Hashimoto's accounts, and some of them have conflicting information. That's okay. Or information I don't feel is really right for me for whatever reason, or maybe things that just don't necessarily resonate with me. Earthlings are not a one size fits all, so it's up to you to receive information and filter it through your own lens. Not every voice will resonate, nor should it. Use discernment. Take what aligns and leave the rest. You can see that this takes some work. Healing and reversing typically is not a quick process. And while the process can feel overwhelming at times, following others who healed what we're working through can offer emotional relief. Because when we follow shared experiences, we get to hear things like their setbacks, their struggles, and that reminds us we're not alone in our feelings. This is important. You can also piggyback your healing accounts. For example, I believe that stressful event I had in early 2023 triggered this autoimmune response. So managing stress was going to be important to the reversal of this. Autoimmunity on an energetic level often ties into negative self-direction, things like self-criticism or internalized conflict. So I started following accounts focused on stress regulation and self-compassion. Ultimately, healing is a very personal journey, but know this: the healed become teachers. And in this information age, those teachers are everywhere if you simply put in the effort to seek them. So, what is an ailment you are wanting to heal from today? Go find that person that has the same thing and was able to heal it. Let me know how you do. Have a good week.